Hey everybody, this is the Colors of Gaming. I'm Orange and
I'm Red.
And we're doing Super Mario Odyssey
For the Nintendo Switch.
Yes. Alright, so let's get talking about Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. Let's start with a little bit of history of our experience with Super Mario. Where does your experience with Super Mario start?
With Super Mario, it started when I was like really young, and I can't really remember. I played the first one, I played Super Mario World, I played Mario 64 all the way up to Odyssey. So I've played a lot of Mario throughout my life.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
You got the Mario on your side. I am not like that. I mean, I started with Mario 64, and in between the generations of consoles and Mario games, I didn't ever end up picking up another Mario game until Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, Mario Karts and spin-offs aside. So let's just get down to it. This game introduced a new concept, at least for me, coming from the Super Mario 64, which is your hat. It adds a two-player option, but it also allows you to do some crazy things in Super Mario. What did you think of this concept compared to the concept we were getting in previous Super Mario games?
I've played, like I said, a lot of them. In Sunshine, we had the jetpack, and I would say that Hattie is most similar to the jetpack because it's this anthropomorphic character, and it's a sentient character that can talk to you, and it accompanies throughout your journey, and it gives you more skills. I think out of all of the different people that have accompanied Mario on an adventure, the hat is a really good one because it switches up the gameplay like no other.
Yeah, I think even just having this hat be a sentient being for Mario, it kind of shows you a little bit more about Mario's character. Like, there's a reason they're not changing Mario. He is his character, and so to make part of his uniform a part of him and, you know, part of this game, I think just exemplifies how true to form Nintendo's sticking to Mario.
Yeah, I think the hat is really cool too. I thought it was really interesting how within the storyline the hat even has a motive for accompanying Mario and becoming a part of this journey, because I believe it's his sister Tiara. He wants to help Mario to save Peach, to save his sister, because Bowser has stolen her for this wedding. Usually Mario games aren't that big of a deal with their story, but I would say that this one is a pretty enjoyable little adventure story where you have to go through these different planets in order to stop this wedding from happening, and you get to see Bowser's plans unfold.
Each world takes us into a new item that we have to get to keep Bowser from getting it, but naturally Bowser is one step ahead of us the whole game. It's a lot of fun when you get into these levels and you see the item that he's taken and just how much chaos he's caused to these people, and you're there, you're Mario, you're gonna fix it, and you're gonna get the girl.
Yeah, it makes Mario look really cool in this game. I actually thought it was kind of interesting how Mario actually loses at the beginning of this. I thought that was really cool. It kind of is in parallel, even in my opinion, with Breath of the Wild, where Link has to save this broken kingdom that he let fall apart. Same with Mario, and I think that's really cool just because, in my opinion, it reflects how Nintendo feels about their Wii U and the Switch.
Oh yeah, that's a really good comparison actually. Nintendo's been doing this quite a bit with some of their games.
I think that it's them saying, we're ready to rock and roll, we're ready to kick ass, take some names, and they're doing it with these new games. Let's just get into the spoilers. All I have to say is if you haven't played Mario Odyssey yet, I don't know what you're doing, especially if you have a Switch. You're probably just playing Smash Brothers, but still.
It's a must-own, I think. You just got to experience it. I know the price point is always high with Nintendo games, but for $60, I had a good time.
You're going to get a lot of hours out of this. Like, far more than 60.
Yeah, probably. Especially if you're going for mastery.
All right, so with that said, let's get into these levels.
All right, then for starters, let's go with the Hat World. It's a pretty short level. It's right after Bowser kicks your ass, throws you off his ship, and takes Peach from you. This is where we're going to be introduced to Cappy. What did you think of this introductory level? I mean, I was pretty impressed with just the technical display here on Hat World. What about you?
Personally, I'm not a technical guy. Like, I think that it looks great, but I was surprised by how dark it felt. It feels like you're in a fucking graveyard or something, and you're at a funeral. And I thought it was great.
Everything's black. There's black caps. There's all these floating hats around. They seem pretty somber, too. They're not happy that Bowser just came and ruined their life. And neither's this guy who just had his sister stolen, or this cap, I mean. So I was impressed with that. But what I really liked was we start out and you sort of fall into this mist. When you hit the ground, the clouds around you do this deformation. I loved that right from the start, where you're running through these clouds and they're deforming and you're sort of parting the way gameplay. I've been seeing that in a lot of games recently. I didn't know that a Mario game could get like a little more realistic at all, and they kind of did it with this one.
Yeah, it's incredibly atmospheric, and it's fun to run through that fog.
I mean, that's pretty much Hat World right out of the way. The next one is going to be Cascade Kingdom. What did you think about going into Cascade Kingdom? Dinosaurs and jungles and all that.
Cascade Kingdom, I think, was a great tonal shift. The beginning was very dark. It's nailing in that Mario has lost. And now we're in Cascade Kingdom, and it says to the player, are you ready for adventure? Because you got it. I really liked this part. I do think that the T-Rex is a little bit overhyped. Like, it wasn't that cool.
No, just to touch on this now, a lot of what we saw in trailers and commercials, I think they sort of overhyped different parts of the games that were not the best parts of the game, in my opinion. It's not the first thing you get to take control of, but the major thing is that T-Rex at the end of the level. You take control of him, and that's when I knew the game could be a lot of fun. I mean, if they can handle the movement of a T-Rex in a Mario game and make you feel like you're playing a T-Rex and not just like something that's supposed to be a T-Rex, I knew that this game was going to take me on a pretty big adventure.
Yeah, it feels very weighty. Another thing that I want to say about this one is that I actually really like the boss, which was this big woman that has this chain chomp, which acts like a dog. And I thought it was really cool how you possess this dog and smack her in the face with it. I thought it was really funny. Another thing that I noticed, Nintendo is great with their music, and here is the same way. When you possess that dog, the little barks happen. And it happens with the beat. And I thought that that was so cool, and I loved that little tiny detail.
Yeah, Nintendo, on their musical performance for this game, I mean, they blew it out of the water. This shit's good. It's stuff I listen to now just because I can. I'm going to call out your first world. The next world that we're going to after that is going to be the Sand Kingdom. This is where I thought the game really opened up. I mean, we just got an introduction to what you can do with the hat. Now we're getting an introduction to what they can do with a world, and they also introduce a little item shop where you can customize Mario. So let's just take it from there. What'd you think of Sand Kingdom?
The first world, in my opinion, felt a lot like Super Mario Sunshine, where you had these different objectives and it was kind of streamlined. Like, you knew where you were going and you had to do these objectives and you did it. This one felt a lot like Mario 64, where there was a bunch of different stars and there were little puzzles and different things that you could do to find out how to get these stars. And I thought it was really fun. I loved the aesthetic of it. I loved the Day of the Dead little characters. They're really cute and fun.
Yeah, the sombrero hats and everything. I mean, it was a good setting. I kind of even got some Zelda vibes here, exploring this desert on the back of this beast. You can hire him as a taxi. He's like a dog. And you go hauling ass through the desert. And that was really cool. It reminded me of sand surfing with those sand seals. That's what they were. So they're kind of binding their IPs together a little bit with these ideas, and it's working really well. And I think we're seeing that more and more in the Super Mario Odyssey game.
Yeah, I would agree. One more thing about this level as well is that I really liked the boss that happens when you jump into the hole. It's a lot of fun. It switches up the gameplay because you have to possess his fist as he's shooting things at you. I just loved it.
That's the first time also you get to become Bullet Bill. That was cool. I didn't know how to counter Bullet Bill at first until I threw my hat at him, and then I was, holy shit. And there's all kinds of things you can do as Bullet Bill and different places you can get to, shortcuts you can get to. It kind of opened up my mind to some speed running that could be done in this game, and little puzzles just here and there for Bullet Bill. Like, you've got to beat him to do these puzzles to get that moon. So I was impressed.
That's really cool.
Yeah, now we're going to the Steam Gardens, which you get a choice to go here, or the Lake Kingdom. So which one did you pick? Did you have a preference? Did you care?
I didn't really mind either one. I actually just chose the Steam Gardens because I just did. This was a pretty fun level. I thought it was kind of cool. It's very different and honestly kind of weird. Like, there's these, I don't know what to call them, watering can robots that like jump around and beep boop beep boop. And I mean, the theme is weird and kind of muddled, and I don't quite know what they're going for here.
I was thinking maybe an adventurer, you know, like an Indiana Jones. I think some of the outfits you can buy are kind of that, kind of that atmosphere.
That kind of pulpy look, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like an archaeologist. I could see that, but the way the level is laid out, I didn't get that vibe. The one thing that I do want to talk about in here that I really enjoyed was that there is this one character that you can possess, and it's like this onion that has legs that can stretch up and I really liked that one. There was a boss fight with him that was really fun.
Yeah, that one was cool. You get right underneath that boss. It took me a long time to figure that out, but you get underneath him and you just launch up into his stomach and he kind of like spazzes out. I thought I was breaking the game. I was like, oh wait, they want me to do this.
Yeah, and as soon as you figure that out, that boss is really fun because it feels different than jumping, but it's still adding to that platformer feeling of a Mario game while just changing the formula a tiny bit. And I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, they get really creative with these characters that you've seen in other Mario games before. You've seen these creatures, but now you are these creatures. So you're already familiar with how they behave, but now you're even more familiar with them. And taking control of them is just, it's a really good time.
It feels good.
After that, you go into the Lake Kingdom. I picked this one just because I liked the name. I just left like a Sand Kingdom, so I wanted to go into something with more water. I went Lake Kingdom, and I had the same experience. There wasn't really anything I really loved about Lake Kingdom. In fact, that's kind of how I felt with both of these levels. I was really looking forward to Metro Kingdom. I'd seen that in the advertisements, and that's why I brought up earlier, don't get too excited with what you've seen in advertisements, because I did. And I was sort of let down when I get to these other levels that felt like they were in the way of Metro Kingdom.
Yeah, they feel a little filler. I think that there is some merit to the Lake Kingdom. I did like where you're a fish. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. But that was really most of the level. You're kind of a fish to get around, and that fish doesn't have any special abilities besides whirling and going like forward fast. That's his attack, and allowing you to breathe underwater. So
I would say that the race here like isn't that interesting. They're just mermaids that just chill out.
they weren't as exciting as like our Day of the Dead people we just got in the Sand Kingdom. Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie either. The mermaids are kind of bitchy. They wouldn't let me into the place to see the dress or whatever, and I'm like, I'm fucking Mario, bitch.
Yeah, it was like the Zora people from Zelda, just like worse.
Yeah, I don't know how you could beat the Zoras in snottiness, but they totally did.
Like the Zoras are so full of themselves, but they're not like assholes. These people are full of themselves and assholes.
And assholes. Yeah, I'm gonna save your world, and you're not gonna let me see
One
the freaking
dress. Like, you just let Bowser steal it. Come on.
Exactly.
Let me just look at the wireframe or something.
Yeah.
You get those out of the way, and the next one you're going to is the Cloud Kingdom, but really, you're kind of getting there because Bowser is here to interrupt your plans when you're on your way to the Metro Kingdom. What'd you think of this boss fight? I mean, you're encountering Bowser not even like 4 hours into the game, which normally that means two things. He's there to fuck you up again, or the game's over. So at this point, I could only assume that he was just there to fuck me up. What'd you think about this little intermission with Bowser?
I actually really liked it. I thought it was a good way to bring Bowser into the fold again. In almost all the Mario games, you fight Bowser 3 to 4 times. And I thought that this way was really cool because it actually worked within the narrative. And also, we get a little taste of what he's going to be like in this one. And I can tell you, Bowser is a fucking Chad in this.
Yeah, he's a badass. I mean, he doesn't care.
I mean, we have Bowser, we've got 8-Bit Bowser, we've got Giga Bowser, now we have Chad Bowser. And he's so cool. He's got this hat with boxing gloves. You can steal that hat, you punch him in the face a billion times. It kind of reminded me of Punch-Out. And it was a lot of fun to just be able to sock this guy in the face. I really liked it.
And Bowser gets you back. It's not like a one-sided fight. I think you get onto his ship in that cinematic, and Bowser's just like, no, and kicks you back out. And that's where you end up in the Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah, what did you think of the Cloud Kingdom?
I liked it.
They call Orange the Cloud King.
Just fat clouds.
Yeah.
24/7, 420 times a day.
I really liked the Cloud Kingdom. It was really cool. There's this creature that you can take control of that stretches out. And it's another example of how it's still a platformer, but they just change it a tiny bit.
This is that caterpillar? Yeah, that was a cool character. I loved playing him because I would get him to stretch out and then circle around, and then you could get him to eat his own ass. So I took a picture of him doing that. This game has great photo opportunities as well. Like, besides that, you can actually really do a lot of cool stuff with the camera. I'll just leave that there. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this kingdom besides my tangent there?
No.
Okay, then after that, now we get to go to the Metro Kingdom. Oh, dude, I was really excited for this one. What about you?
Kind of. I was curious about the Metro Kingdom. What did you think about this?
I liked it better in the commercials.
See, that was my issue with the Metro Kingdom just as a whole and just as a concept, is this art style is so ugly to me.
I liked it.
In comparison, though, to the rest of the levels.
Yeah, it was weird seeing people, like real people in the Mario universe. It didn't make a lot of sense, but it grew on me. Mario in New York City. I thought that would be really cool, and it was at first. But unlike the other levels, this one actually really worked. wore off on me quick. I was pretty happy to leave the Metro Kingdom, but they sold it at the end of Metro Kingdom with that really cool performance with Pauline, yeah. Good performance. And something we haven't brought up is these 2D sections where you're going back in time, kind of. It's like you're going back to old Mario and you're doing the platforming game, but they have you running across neon screens and around buildings, and that was cool. And the music to accompany that was fun.
Yeah, and it was really cool to reach Pauline in this game as you're kind of jumping around these buildings and dodging Donkey Kong. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Pauline is the original person that Mario would save from Donkey Kong.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's kind of cool. Really
that makes
cool
so
callback.
much sense now.
It did have like really cool set pieces. I enjoyed the set pieces for this one. When you get right to the Metro Kingdom, it's really cool. It's raining. You're trying to get through this like destroyed city, and then you have to fight this giant caterpillar robot.
Oh, that boss was so cool. That didn't even feel like Mario, you know, that was badass.
I loved that part, and I loved the last part like we just talked about, but to me, just the way this looks, it looks like a PS3 game.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on his looks at all.
Yeah, and the characters, if you pay attention, there's a lot of pop-up, and it just doesn't have that polish that I feel like Mario deserves.
Yeah, and maybe it's just, you know, humans aren't meant for the Mario universe, I don't know. But it was a good addition to this game and its sequence. So you're going to leave the Metro Kingdom now, and you're going into the Snow Kingdom. When I saw Snow Kingdom and Cappy's giving you the rundown, I was thinking of Super Mario 64 Snow Kingdom, where you're picking up the penguin and you have to return him to his mom. I mean, that was like super nostalgic for me. It's probably one of the reasons I love penguins now, just because of that game. So I was hoping for something like that, but I was pleased with what I got. What did you think of it?
When I first initially got into the Snow Kingdom, I just wasn't feeling it at first, because they give you this checklist of things you gotta do in order for this stupid race to start. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm thinking they're gonna give me like a Mario Kart track or something. Nope, that's not what they do. And I'm so happy that they didn't do that, because it's like this weird jumping race thing where you have to take control of one of these little creatures that lives in the world, and you like jump to victory as you're racing, and it's a lot of fun. I really liked it. I think that you could maybe even make a whole game out of this.
Yeah, I agree. And these snow like Yeti men reminded me a lot of the Goron from Zelda. So their powers just kind of, they roll around and they're these big like fat fluffy dudes. But that race was fun. I spent enough time on that race just trying to get like at least top 100 on the like national scoreboard. They have those in these games with these little mini games. You can reach the top, but I mean, there's some people who spend probably as much time as I spent in the game playing that. So I wasn't reaching the top 100, but I was loving it.
People probably treat that game like a full-time job, and I just don't have that time, but you could do that because it's that awesome.
Yeah, so Snow Kingdom, this is a little more than halfway through the game now. I mean, you're getting close to the end here. Throughout this whole time, you're stealing pieces for Bowser's big wedding. You're not really bringing those pieces up. Really, you should just play the game yourself and see what this wedding is. But there's a new thing in every level that Bowser has stolen from them that he's going to use at his wedding. So just keep that in mind. It might not seem like there's a lot of sense being made here, but it's Super Mario. Just play it. It makes sense later. So now we get into the Seaside Kingdom, and that kingdom had some of my favorite music. I mean, I don't know when you hear this track, but you get the track called Bubblain, and that reminded me a lot of a song called Brazil by Jeff and Maria Muldar. That song was just awesome, man. It's really chill, really relaxed, and it sets the tone for this environment where Bowser has stolen this champagne. I mean, you could be drinking champagne playing this level. It's just a really relaxed, like, beachside setting.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Super Mario Sunshine, once again, because the whole game on Super Mario Sunshine takes place on an island similar to, like, Hawaii, and the strings on that piece are just really pretty, and it's just relaxing and awesome. I also really like that level because I like that boss fight with that big octopus that's on top of the champagne, and you can take control of these little octopi.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, is that the thing?
I think so.
Yeah. You can take control of these octopi, and you shoot up into the air and do all sorts of things with them. And I thought they were pretty fun. It did get a little old.
Once I figured out that I could go up, that was really cool. I spent a lot of time doing that boss fight, just trying to go up. Then I found out you can go forward, and that's where a lot of it opened up for me. I started jetting around the whole level, just looking for secrets, and you use these creatures to beat the boss.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Just a really relaxed level. Totally worth it. So now you're going to leave the Seaside Kingdom. Next kingdom is a pretty funny one. It's probably the goofiest one in the whole game. It's the Luncheon Kingdom. You can imagine Bowser needs to visit this kingdom. He needs food.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. So yeah, we're getting to the Luncheon Kingdom. You've got fork people, you got spoon people, you got chefs, and my favorite outfit in the game, Chef Mario. I love the outfit. I use that for the rest of the game.
I actually didn't dabble too much with the different outfits, but this is probably my favorite level. This is where, in my opinion, the difficulty kind of starts to ramp up, and the bosses are really cool. There was one boss that was this big bird boss that like vomits at you, and you have to like climb up the vomit and then defeat him. It's a lot of fun. It's not as gross as it sounds.
No, it's a really colorful kingdom. So like his vomit is just chunks of this colorful food from the whole kingdom, so it doesn't look like anything but food.
I mean, he's probably the worst chef ever though, because he's vomiting in his own soup.
Oh yeah, and this is like big for the people too. The whole Luncheon Kingdom loves you for defeating this boss. I don't know if they knew that the bird just threw up in their huge cauldron on top of a volcano, but he did. And they're gonna eat it. So yeah, that sums up Luncheon Kingdom. I mean, there wasn't too much there that I was like crazy about, besides it being goofy and a lot of fun.
I do love the aesthetic.
So many colors. It was really poppy. Another tonal shift, I think, in Super Mario Odyssey was Luncheon Kingdom, and that's crazy because that's your 9th world. You're coming close to the end.
Like you said with the Luncheon Kingdom, super bright, super colorful, and then we hit
the Ruin Kingdom. Oh no, everything's ruined. I mean, would you say this is the Dark Souls of Mario levels?
Why, yes, I would, because it's probably the hardest level. No, it's not.
No, it's actually really easy. It just looks like a Dark Souls kingdom. If you played Dark Souls 1, you get to that, like, I don't know. Fans of Dark Souls are going to hate me for not remembering the name of the kingdom, but you get to a big ruined
like
kingdom.
Aspect
right?
Kingdom.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's scary. And yeah, you fight a dragon. That was weird, man. I didn't expect a really like high poly dragon.
What did you think though?
I think it was a good fight. I wish the Ruin Kingdom was bigger.
Yeah, me too.
I was hoping that after this fight there'd be more in the Ruin Kingdom, but nah, you'll leave that one pretty quick. I think there's a total of like 5 moons, and that's if you find the hidden ones. 5 moons to complete this level.
Yeah, I really loved that fight too. It was super cool. Like you said, I wish that it was longer. I just can't imagine kids nowadays, because when I was a kid, I was afraid of the fucking Bowser in Mario 64, and now you have this goddamn dragon that's like really realistic looking, and it's gonna kill Mario. Like this, it's not messing around.
I mean, when we were kids, like, we weren't really playing Call of Duty. I mean, kids are desensitized to war now, so and you know, Grand Theft Auto, robbing banks and shit. So I think I don't think they're gonna be too impressed with a dragon or scared.
They like playing as Trevor, so they'll be okay.
Yeah, Trevor mains. That was Ruin Kingdom. Next kingdom, this is a big one. Bowser Kingdom. I liked this. It was probably my second favorite next to Seaside Kingdom. You get the samurai setting. You're approaching his castle, and one of my favorite creatures to control is in this level. It was a good level.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm assuming you're going to be talking about the bird.
Yeah, the bird with the sword nose or whatever.
That bird is really cool, and that was what I was thinking throughout the whole thing was I love this character, and I kind of wish that we got him sooner.
Yeah, me too. This character, probably not the most versatile that Mario gets to control, but the most fun. There's a couple levels where you control like traffic cones. Metro Kingdom has those, and you like flick your hat up or whatever, and Mario goes flying. That's basically what you do with the bird, but you can do it in all directions now.
He can also attack people with his
beak.
He
can attack, and he can attack people, objects, you name it. But that's not really where the highlight for Bowser Kingdom lies. I think their main highlight is in the aesthetic. If you can pan that camera down, you can get some awesome pictures of like the sort of Japanese architecture. This huge ancient like kingdom is kind of what I'm getting from Bowser Kingdom. It's a spectacle, man. It's really cool to be there.
Yeah, and for me personally, the track on this one is so fucking killer. It just is the drums of war, and I love it so much. It hypes you up for that boss fight with the Droodles.
Yeah, with the Droodles, which the Droodles, they were characters you encounter throughout the game. They basically replace bosses in some levels. The Droodles I liked. They were funny at first, but you have to fight them more than once.
I was okay with that.
I was okay with that, except that they didn't change up the fight too much. It was almost the same fight the next time you see them. That really disappointed me.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know if they needed to change it too much, in my opinion, because it was just cool. I just liked fighting them. They were all really well designed, in my opinion. They were kind of creepy, almost. I just liked the fights with them. I don't know. I understand, though, if it was too repetitive for you.
It was too repetitive, but these fights, the second time around, they're easier. 64, they may have thrown in some difficulty there, but this is not really a hard game. I wasn't a big fan of these fights with the Droodles the second time around, so they could have done something different.
Yeah, I think the very end fight with the Droodles was pretty good, though, where you had to play as the bird.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was a good fight. So that was where they did change it up that I was okay with it. I was okay with seeing the Droodles again. We've been getting that wrong, so I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Don't sue us.
Don't sue us for saying Droodle, like, chill. But the Droodles, this was where they changed it up in a way that I was happy with it, where now you're fighting this mech that they're all inside of. It's made out of wood. Is a really good decision by the Droodles, and you happen to be a bird. And this whole boss fight takes place with this character. That wasn't expected by me at all. I was wondering when they were going to kick me out of the bird because I was having a lot of fun, and Nintendo didn't disappoint me. They let me play as the bird the whole time, the whole boss fight.
Yeah, it's the only way to beat him. So.
Yeah, it is the only way to beat him. So that was a good fight. I loved that one.
Yeah, it sends off the Droodles pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good send-off, you know, and at least you don't have to see him again now, but maybe we'll see him later.
And I really liked that right after that, we just go straight into the Moon Kingdom. There's no breaks after this.
No, yeah. I was actually hoping to return to the Moon Kingdom the next day. I had work, but no, you're going to the Moon Kingdom. Cappy's ready to go. You're ready to go. You get sent to it, and it's a cool level. It's short, like it should have been. You're there now. You've got Bowser pinned, and it's time to fight him. What did you think of this end sequence for Bowser?
Let me get into the level just a little bit. I liked that they reintroduced a ton of ideas throughout the entire game. You get to play as a lot of different characters. And then, as I said before, one of my favorite bosses at the very beginning was that big lady that has the chain chomp. And I was wondering, I'm like, we've fought the Droodles multiple times, so where is the big mama Droodle? And she's there.
She's there.
It made me so happy. I was so happy. She's probably my favorite Droodle. I loved fighting her, and the second time did not disappoint. I loved it. And then we get into the marriage. And just like Shrek, you run in there and you stop it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And then you fight Bowser once again in the same fashion that you did before.
This was my problem with the end fight with Bowser. And it was the same problem I had with the Droodles. I didn't like having to fight him the same way again. That was so disappointing when it was like you're thrown into the literal arena with Bowser.
Dude, I was so hyped.
I was
so
not hyped knowing that I did this before.
Okay. But if that didn't hype you up, what about the next part after you defeat Bowser and then you put Hattie on him, or Cappy on him?
That was cool.
That was so cool.
That was cool. To be playing as Bowser and you really see how powerful Bowser is. He's tearing down walls and all kinds of crazy shit. So I was okay with that. It's just, it wasn't really the send-off I was hoping we'd get with Super Mario and Bowser. I mean, I'm not going to pretend, you know, I'm here to ship Mario and Peach. They need to get married now. But I was really hoping that was what would happen. Not so much that I was so upset, but I was like, what the fuck, you know, Mario.
I kind of agree with you with the end because it makes Peach look really ungrateful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I just had so much fun with that end part where you're stomping around as Bowser and like punching through everything and stuff. And as I said before, Bowser is a freaking Chad in this game. And, you know, like Peach keeps ending up with him somehow. So I'm just happy for Mario that he got to feel that big dick energy for once.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see why Peach was drawn to him. You can see why. He's got her slung over his shoulder. Like, you get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mario can't do that. He's like half the size of Peach. He ain't even big.
Yeah, I mean, unless he has a mushroom, that's not happening, right?
Yeah, for real.
So, anyways, I loved that part. I thought it was so cool, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually get nostalgic too often, but damn, that end with the music, they even play the Mario 64 song with Bowser for a second. It just hit me so hard. I loved it so much, and I was so happy with the end. I'm so surprised that you don't like the end fight, but that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not gonna even pretend.
But with all of this said, I mean, the last console that Nintendo released, the Wii U, was a hard console. And before this Mario game, all we had was Mario World.
3D Land?
I believe so.
Yeah, for the DS.
It's so good to see Mario Odyssey return to form. And in my opinion, just Nintendo as a whole return to form. Because when they want to, they create these really unforgettable experiences. And I think Mario Odyssey is that. The way that I felt or feel about Mario 64, Mario Sunshine when I was younger and still to this day as an adult, I think kids will feel 10 years later about Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo sold it with this one. This is a really good, I'm just going to say it's a good performance. There's good music, there's great artwork going on here. Level design it's solid all the way through. I mean, just because there's levels I don't like doesn't mean that these levels were bad. You can tell there's thought that was put into each and every single one of these levels. It's a really humbling experience to be able to play this game on Nintendo Switch and see Nintendo really sell this game confidently. I mean, this whole game sort of exudes confidence from Mario and Bowser, and I think Nintendo's showing that with their own systems, like you brought up earlier. They've sold it, and they're doing a bang-up job of it. I mean, real good.
Yeah, so for me, Mario Odyssey is amazing. Go check it out if you haven't already. Listening to our video is not doing any of the games that we talk about justice. So even if you have listened to these videos without playing them, I still recommend you go check them out. Mario Odyssey is great.
Yeah, I loved it. Go play it. I recommend it for yourself. It's also a 2-player game with an assist mode that's super easy, so like you could get like your kid in on this, or you could get your little brother or whatever. You guys could have a really good time. So, with all that said, this is The Colors of Gaming. I'm Orange.
And I'm Red.
Signing out.